Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator and I'm pleased to show you how to make this card. And this can either be called a floating center card or a spinner card. So this is floating on a string basically. And to make it a spinner card, you twist this all up, put it on the side that you want, like that. When you open it, it spins to get the other image. This particular card has an apple on the front, and it says this calls for apple cider, and on the other side, the flip side, it says this calls for pumpkin spice, and then it just says autumn season here. So it's just kind of a fun card. The sample for club members, it's an apple on one side and the pumpkin on the other, and this also spins. So it's just kind of it's a fun thing. This could be a cute Christmas card. It could be, they were talking about a Halloween card, just different things. Also for club members, on the back of the card are all of the step-by-step instructions for the technique. Alright, now let's get started. So I have, we're using the More Than Autumn bundle, and it has a lot of cool little sayings and what do you call these, little pictures. It can be used for the reason why they say More Than Autumn. It has some candy cane, it has peppermint, hot cocoa, pumpkin pie, well I guess that's autumn, some donuts, little gingerbread guy, some marshmallows, and then there are also dies to go with it, and they're pretty. I have a couple little samples in here. They really punch out nice, or it's not punched, but they really come out nice. All right, enough nonsense. So I have stamped all of the images already just to save time, and I also have, see, I don't know if I have the dies. Okay. So anyway, I took a circle die, I put it on here with this open, and I placed the die on there, ran it through the machine, and ended up with this circle. Then I also, for a pretty border that's going to go around here, I ran that same circle with the, wish I had them here. Oh, I do. Okay. So I use the everyday or stylish shapes, and I took the biggest circle here, yeah, I think I did. I think that was the biggest. Of course it's not here. So anyway, I took, oh, it wasn't the biggest. It was the second circle. I put it on here. Oops. I put it on here, ran it through the machine with this open, and cut it out, and ended up with that little circle I just showed you. To get the cherry cobbler pieces, you have a piece of cardstock. You use that same size circle so that everything matches here, and then I use the deckled circles. These are an online exclusive, and then I use the next bigger one, or second bigger one. Let me see which one I used. I used this one. And when you put them through the machine, you line them up. You can tape them, or if you have a magnetic platform, and then you run it through the machine like this, and you end up with this. You can run two at a time, so then you'll get them both the same size. Just a little extra tidbit there, in case you were wondering. Just don't want these things to get lost. I'm gently putting them back. Okay. So with that in mind, that's how I did that part of it. I have stamped the two pieces. I did one of pumpkin and one of apple, and I'm going to show you a little thing that I like to do. It's not a trick, but it's a little, it adds dimension. You see one has blue around it and one does not. It just kind of gives it a little bit more kind of a 3D look. So I take, this is the light balmy blue marker. I use the wide end and I simply just trace it around the entire image. Now I know some people, as they were doing this, they're trying to like color it. You don't want to do that. You just want to make a nice steady line. Went inside the line a little bit on here, but that's okay. It's a card. That's what I always tell people when they get real ridiculous sometimes about it. Okay, so I did all the other stamping except for the front, and I'll show you what I did for that now that I lined it all up. So for the front, I did take the apple and the pumpkin, and the apple I did in cherry cobbler, and I just put randomly apples, and I'm doing the turning trick. I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos, but so that they're not all the same direction and you don't have to worry about, oh, did I have one going this way? Did I have one going that way? You just keep turning your paper. Okay, so that's the apple in cherry cobbler. And then the pumpkins I did in Cajun Craze so they would show up a little better. And again, you do the same thing. They don't have to be spaced any particular way. It's just for decoration, just to give it something. May not need it, but I thought it was fun. I also did it on the inside, so both sides, when you open it, it has that design on it. Okay. Now, finally, for the technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of twine. This is the red and white striped linen thread. It's in the holiday catalog, and we're going to be putting it down here. So I'm using glue dots, and you can use a pickup tool. Sometimes this doesn't work so well, so then I'll just put it on that way, but this, we're just going to grab it, try and get it as flat as you can. Everything works better flat. Okay, so I'm just going to grab it here. It stuck to my finger. Okay, and then put it on there. Try to make it as flat as you can. And I'll hold it up in a second here. That one got demolished. Okay, and then, so you have one up here and one down here. So one here and one here. Alright. Then we're going to take our string, our thread, whatever you want to call it. Set it down on the top one and hold it taut. You have to kind of pull it a little bit and keep your finger on this one so it doesn't pull off, and push it down and just kind of embed it into there. And you'll take a scissors, cut off the excess. You don't want to cut it too close because the possibility of it coming off would be greater. So you want to keep a little bit of a string above the circle. You can see that. Okay. So that's pretty much it for that. Then I'm going to take my apple because I want the apple on the front. And since I have glue dots on here, I'm using my silicone mat, putting it like this, grabbing my apple, flipping it over. Alright, I did it both ways. Okay. And this one's already here because I put it on the wrong side, so I'm just using it again. You don't have to color it on both sides. So I'm centering it onto the thing, over the top of it. Words aren't coming out right again today. And then I'm using the black dimensionals. For some reason, I don't know what's going on with the white dimensionals, but they weren't sticking as well. Well, part of the reason was I didn't take the paper off the top of them, but other than that, they just didn't seem to be sticking as well. So I'm putting one on each of the string. You can see right on the middle of the string, and then I'll do two of them on each side, like so. Give it a good press, and then we'll take off the liner here. And maybe. Okay. And then we are going to take our other one, and I like them kind of on a little bit of an angle. Line it up so the circles are lined up. When they're lined up, then you give it a nice push, and then you have your mechanism. And that's all it is to get the mechanism. Then we are going to put these circles just the outside of the circles over the top, and that covers up our little glue dot, and it gives it a little extra more support. I'm using my glue gun thing. I'm putting extra on top of the string. It gives it a little bit more support. I'm putting this on right onto the card itself. It's easier than trying to put glue on here and then you get it all over your fingers. Put it over the top, like so. Hold it down for just a moment on your glue dot area. Anything that oozes out with this glue, it's not a big deal because you just wipe it off and it comes right off. That's why I prefer it to the Tombow glue, because the Tombow, it's a two-way glue, so it's supposed to stay sticky, and I don't want it to. All right, and now we'll do this side. This is already encased, but just to make it look prettier. So I'm going to just put a bead of glue all the way around. I don't have a steady hand doing this, I don't know why. And then we'll put this piece on, like so. And if any of the orange underneath is showing, then you just move it. It's one thing nice about glue, is you have a little bit of wiggle room. There we go. Now we have our encased little image. And then I also I didn't like the way that this showed orange, or wait, it'll show white. So the next step basically is putting in our inside. So we will glue that in. I'm using a layer of cherry cobbler to keep the design consistent. And that goes right here, about 1/8 of an inch around, and then a piece of white. It's 3 3/4 by 5, just for the next layer, like so. And then I should have put that on first, but there's a way to do this. So I already stamped the autumn season, and what I should have done is put this on first, because then it would just go through the hole, like so. But because I didn't, I have to do it a different way, and it's an okay way to do it. Since I already stamped it, you want to make sure that your writing is up and down. Lay it in that hole, hold it, put your adhesive on it. It's a little bumpy, like so. And then just close up your card, and then it fits right in there as well. So see, there's no white showing now. Pretty simple. And I have 2 little sentiments that say this calls for. I'm just going to glue those on up here, one there, the one on the inside. Oops. Okay, one on the inside. this calls for. And then one says pumpkin spice. That would be the one that I intend for the pumpkin, like so. And you could do it straight or at an angle. I think I'll go on an angle. And then the front one says apple spice or apple cider, like so. And that's it. So I hope that you enjoyed watching how to make this. It's a very simple technique. Again, you can do it a spinner card just by grabbing it and twisting it around and putting it, close it like so, and then when they open it, then it will spin. Or it's just a floating. So thanks for watching and have a great day.